Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix. Let me check that all of the appropriate audio sources are unmuted off rip. And yeah, welcome to Plotting and Scheming here. We're covering Season 45, 5 versus 5 Grand Arena, Week 1. I'm here with Dagger and TJ. We're, again, finding the time to record a little bit earlier so it's less cumbersome for our personal lives. So fantastic that you gentlemen are both able to be here once again. How you guys doing? Do I have to call him? Do I have to call names?
Yes, you have to call names. This
Man.
isn't a we get to
We
play.
don't have any. We
Man.
don't have any structured order in which we
Man,
respond.
you could have
No,
just.
it's
Well, this is. When we get to the actual material, I'll call you out. You could have just sounded
Right.
off instead of just making me look like a
doing
dick.
great.
But we're keeping
Taz is
it.
a
We're
jerk.
keeping it for the people.
Tass is a jerk, and that's what we are, a slave driver, man. It's
Yeah,
like, God.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm good though.
Yeah,
other
you
other
won't
than a
eat-
slave driver.
Man,
yeah, yeah. I'm doing great, except for our pre-show meeting when he's like, "You're not allowed to speak until called on."
That's right. With the whip. With
exact
the whip.
quotation.
Yeah, I forgot
no
about
doubt.
the whip. We discussed that in depth. The whip. Oh man.
Right. It stings. It stings on the snap.
The sting of the lash, indeed. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna give my overview of this week. I had just a ton going on this week, personally and professionally. I was really barely able to find the time to plan and execute both rounds 1 and 2. I still almost won the second one. The first one I just against Taro, I just bungled. But I did win the third, and so I'm still in the top 20. And yes, that's the kind of drop off if you go 1 and 2. So I'm like ranked 17, I want to say right now, but we're just barely surviving, and we have we've got Ray, we've got or not Ray, we've got Leia, got Malicos. You see, I've got 513.
Oh, did you finally
crystals.
unlock your Ray?
Shut up. I have 513 crystals to my name after everything, getting Drogon up to 8, Leia up to 9, and Malicos up to 9.
Yuck.
So that's my
poor people.
overview of how week 1 went.
Yeah.
It was 1 and 2. It was kind of meh, but we have all of the crap prepared and reasonably serviceable for week 2, with the only exception being I don't have the ultimate unlocked on Leia. That'll hopefully be available for next week. Any initial remark you guys wanted to make before we jump into the real material?
We need to discuss your
Yeah, I
life
was able-
options.
Yeah, I was able to R8 my Drogon, R9 my Leia and Malicos, and then R7 like 4 other characters. So I'm gonna have to ask you to just stop being poor.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. I want to know. I'm offended. I'm a little offended by the amount of time it took you to get your Leia comparatively being in the
Oh
top.
man, yeah.
Just squeaking by getting it this morning.
Dude,
Just squeaking
Dude,
by.
I just feel like your priorities are out of whack.
yeah.
is
I
what I'm
mean,
trying to
like
say.
I had it unlocked and everything, but I was modding. Ask Dagger. I was literally modding
up
up to the
about
last
3
minutes.
minutes.
He's just
I
having.
was literally DMing. I was DMing because I'm like, where is Tass and why is he not in the game? Why is
Dude,
he still back there?
he's sitting in a voice chat, Dagger, with me, and he's just just shooting the shit, just talking, like looking at stuff, looking at mine. He's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of cool. And it's like, my work phone got like a chime. My wife comes in the room and asks a question. I'm literally trying to think with like 11 minutes until lock-in about how I'm going to patch up 4 characters that I robbed for like Leia and someone else, and then I still had to mod Drogon. All of this in the last 11 minutes, and so it's like between the phone, the needs of the game, my wife, and then my daughter just singing this repeating sound on background in the background. I was like, Dagger was just talking. I was like, I have to get off Discord right now. I absolutely had to get away.
All of this brought to you by tell me you're bad at time management without telling me you're bad at time.
No, what it was is I put work first. All day. All day.
Again, priorities, sir.
I'm telling you, man.
I feel like you don't have the right ones.
I'm telling you, man. All right.
Even
TJ.
I was able to play this week.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, what was that?
No, I was like, even I was able to play this week, so I'm a little disappointed in
Then
your amount of effort that you
that's
gave.
right.
Oh yeah, no,
I,
this first week, man, it was just crazy. Just gangbusters at work. So just so much to get done. Anyway, let's go ahead and go right into it. So what worked this week? Let
Yeah,
me
fuck you, TJ.
let me just quickly pull up mine because what worked for me is going to be relatively brief as I won one round. Star Killer versus Ray. I'm getting a pretty practiced hand with that, but again, the real crutch is using a real strong set 9. Once set 9's gone, I don't know, man. It's going to feel demoted. JKL. So, as far as Jedi Cal goes, I had successful outcomes with both JKR lead and with Jedi JKL lead. I feel like I prefer JKL, and I know Dagger disagrees with me and thinks this is crazy. But I also feel like I prefer set 9 because I finish with higher banners. I just do. It's like 2, 3, 4 more banners. It's I that's all I can say. If you want to chalk it up to, I probably have some finesse that I could improve using the set 10 to pick up an extra couple banners. I am willing to take that argument, but facts being as they are, the set 9 seems to produce a higher banner outcome for me. What else? Against Sasha. Man, I'll tell you what, I fought a Qui-Gon, Sasha Isha's Qui-Gon. If you weren't looking, you might not have noticed his 394 effective cam. So I did Shock Lead Bad Batch, and that was great.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if they got to turn it all, it was just going to be so bad. Anything else that was kind of exceptional? I've been. This isn't going to be news, so I'm not. I don't feel like I'm giving away the house on this one. Afra versus Jabba continues to deliver results for me. It's set 9. I'm pretty sure you could do it with set 10. Armor penetration, crit damage, maybe some offense in there for Afra's sake. But yeah, incredible stuff. Nothing else unconventional on the second round. And then versus Michael, I think everything was pretty straightforward. Yep, everything was pretty straightforward. So nothing special on that one. TJ, haven't heard a lot from you yet here today. What worked for you
No
this
shit.
week? Yeah,
right.
shut the
how was
hell
your
up,
week,
Dagger.
TJ?
Dude,
First off, how was your week, TJ? Since you
my
ain't
week
answered that.
was horrible. So horrible and awesome, and it's only going to get worse because as Tass is saying he's ranked 17, I'm like 15, so I'm fighting a bracket of people that is going to be a just shit show. It's just going to be a shit show of a week, especially all the new stuff.
Yes.
I fought Goda,
Mm-hmm.
amazing player, beat him by 1 point.
Yep.
Literally came down to ships, and I got lucky with my Empire by 1 point. Which was just bananas. So,
Beautiful.
and Goda is no easy target. Then fought Guildmate Barator, and he just, I beat myself is what it was. I did some things that were stupid, and just ate the shit. And then the third round, I shouldn't have won, but I did against Rockstar. And so I ended up going 2-1. It was
nice. Really nice.
Part of that, and I'll explain it to him, and I'll explain it to everybody else. Do not set 10, and Dagger said this, and I'm going to reiterate this because this is what comes out of it. Do not set 10 with Ray, thinking you're going to trick anybody else. He set with almost 100% crit avoidance, which was great. It's awesome, right? That is a cool concept that you're doing. My Inquisitors don't care about the construct or that, and I literally talked through my fight and had a nice conversation and was done within 3 minutes. Everybody was gone. I don't care about that. Do not set 10 with your Ray thinking that Inquisitors of all things, are not going to beat the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will. That was my big discovery, the seeing. I was like, I got to test this out and see if it's going to work, and it worked like a charm. Yep. And I walked away with the 60, which is fine. But everybody was still alive, and I just pummeled them, right? It was amazing. Phoenix are everything I said they would be, and I know Dagger said it, and I know everybody's saying it. I screwed up. So the one thing I've been seeing, and I'm pretty sure I'm not doing anymore, is because I've had to use Watt elsewhere, that has left my SLK wanting when it comes to LV fights. And the people I'm fighting have very thick LVs. And we'll go to what doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, that I was going to say. Right now, we're talking about what worked.
But this is why I'm saying this.
Okay.
Is that Phoenix are just, you've screwed up and something's wrong, Phoenix will come save your ass. That's why I pointed to this.
Get out of jail
Phoenix
free.
they are amazing. I cannot stress enough how awesome they are. Dagger and I will go heads and tails over what the concept is, but one thing everybody will agree on, but it's true, right? But everything we agree on is still Phoenix are F-bomb. I won't use the word because I know Dagger will use it later. Awesome. That's
PG-13,
why I bring it up.
I get the obligatory F-bomb.
You get one. You get one. But that's why I want to bring it up. Everything else is the same, right? Nice Sister still kill Nice Sister things. And if you get it set up right, they kill Jabba. Everything else, it's really no surprises. But Phoenix being able to like, oh, I've screwed the pooch, or even do the one-shots on like the LVs. Phoenix are just amazing. Mm-hmm. So I'll leave it there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair. Dagger, what worked for you?
Well, the saga of me climbing up from the absolute dregs of Kyber 1 is now over.
Mm-hmm.
And last week...
Look, Mom, he's a real boy. He's a big boy now, Mom. He gets to come play with the adults. Right. It's fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's a bigger boy.
Yeah, I get to play with the big kids and have one of the only Leias in my bracket.
Nice.
Which I unlocked Saturday morning tasks. When did you unlock yours?
What, 2 days later than you? I want to say 2 days.
That,
I'm not joking. I will admit to it. I got it like 2 days later. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a couple things to add to the things that don't work, like TJ said. But yeah, it was an interesting week for me because my opponents all gave me a lot of wiggle room to try stuff out. So I'll have a lot more to say in the second one. But basically for this round, it's the usual suspects. Starkiller beats Rey.
Any novel uses of Phoenix?
We'll talk more about that in the what didn't work, but I did get the
okay.
I did get the clown down a JML on defense because they didn't put Xeris on the team. I don't know if they would have beaten a Xeris, but there was no Xeris, so I was just like, yeah, there's no threat to this not working.
Yeah. So I think for me, as far as Phoenix goes...
and then really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick. The other thing that's worked just amazingly well for me versus Malgus for max banners is JKR lead with a Calcron, and you take in Hoda. So no matter who he bonks, you get Savior. And then they just die for 65 banners. So it's felt very clean for me. And I know Tass and I have talked at length on that about what's best, what do we do, what feels cleanest. And that's kind of where I've landed is you can do it with a set 10, but I feel like you have a higher timeout risk.
You mean a set 9. You mean a set 9 is a higher timeout risk.
Yeah, sorry. I said bulk, right?
No, I know, but you said the word set 10, so I just wanted to make sure you were getting it out right, the way you meant.
Yeah. I think the Calcron is better because you get to blow up Malgus in the first 30 seconds. And then you just have them. Then you can just kill the rest of them in 2.5 minutes. I remember when I was using the Bulkron before this Calcron, it took me like 4.5 minutes to win. So yeah, I think that there's a lot to also be said for, as TJ mentioned, Night Sisters are very good. Marin with the protection recovery makes that team just very solid across the board. And I guess the only thing the biggest takeaway is that I think every single person set Tuskens, and every single person had them die for 65 to like Padme, Gideon, and Garbage. Please don't set Tuskens. Unless you fight me, then set Tuskens.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, well, let's get right back into it. What didn't work? Man, all right, I'm just going to try and keep it brief, because like I said, rounds 1 and 2 were oolay. All right, so I decided to get a little cheeky here and go for a JML against Lord Vader. And bear in mind, I was definitely hurried this day, but I still was like, I wanted to try this, though. and I wanted to use Ayla, with the Ayla-cron. I've got a tricked out Ayla. Why not be able to call her, mash that button all the time? Yeah, no, just got completely blown out. Had to withdraw after like 2 minutes. It did not work out at all. Probably should have went with my high prot set 9 if I was going to try it again. But looking back, the concept was worth trying because I'd heard tell of it working. Slacker versus Lord Vader, man. So that's the one with Piet, Thrawn, and Royal with Maul. Yeah, I went in with not the right version of Slacker. We'll just say that. And I paid the blood price for my indiscretion. Ooh, yeah. Dude, check this out. I did this to myself again because I felt like I did this before, and I checked, and it's like I have done this before. I saw a super high win rate for C Solo versus a full Traya Savage team, even with an ability block cron. And I saw it's like, where was this successful? And I saw the wins. I mean, there were legitimate wins with it. They must have been terribly modded, and C was just able to continuously lap them and be able to drop the ability block. That's what I expect had to happen. But I went in with almost 300% defense. We were big and brawny, and we were just locked down the majority of the time. So I wouldn't recommend the experience. That failed. That was the first round versus Taro. Sasha. Dig this. I tried JKR, Jedi Cal, Bastila, JKL, and Hoda per someone's advice. And I did kill Malgus and BSF with Darth Revan, Malak, and Sith Marauders still remaining after 4 minutes and 44 seconds. A long fight to come to that outcome.
Which set Datacron?
10. That was a 10. Jedi Cal. JKR lead.
Oh.
As specified.
Look, man, just stop being bad.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll say that. All right, and let's see here. Yeah, I did a different bad riff on a Slacker versus Lord Vader, and it also didn't work. Wow. My JMK timed out against the full Lord Vader that was preloaded. I think I remember I definitely made one boo-boo in haste, but that's because I was moving out in public and stuff. But man, I mean, that I definitely bungled that. That shouldn't have had to have been cleaned up. But let's see, what else was there? Starkiller failed versus Rey, but in the way that it times out and you clean it up, that's all right. Yeah. Even if they don't if they do have grit, never try Rogue One versus Tarful. Let's see here. Yeah, I would say that that's about it for the fails. And then I remember us being pretty clean here in the third round with Michael and... Yeah, it was just a pretty ordinary timeout on Rey as well. It was L3 and Xeris standing, and I cleaned them right up. So, aside from those mostly terrible dum-dums in round one, we picked up a couple lessons from that on some, don't do this, don't try this at home. All right. TJ, what didn't work? What left you alone in the dark?
Sad and crying, as it were, to be done. So round two is just it's just a shit the bed. So there's not going to be really anything that anybody's going to learn that didn't do it. Try Gibme on the Seer team. That was a poopy. The one that tripped me up, and seeing as I told the boys about it, and I'll bring it here too. I actually took Starkiller against a Tarful team that had Han and Chewie and failed.
Wow.
Because the setup, I couldn't get to Tarful fast enough. And because you're applying so many debuffs, they love the debuffs that came in. Eventually, they just pummeled me, and it just killed me. I'm not going to call it not user error. Let's put it there. It's not like, oh, the team sucked. No. I'm sure there were misplays in the fight, but I could not get to it fast enough. And doing so, that left me wanting, and I couldn't kill the team. I killed some, but it's just very surprising to see that it just did not work. That's okay, man. Against LB right now, for me, because of the way I was doing splits, sucks. And it has been a constant problem to the point it's like, I'm just done doing this for right now. While the bulk is here, I'm just out. We're not playing with it. I'll just do other things and I'll kill it. Because it was fails left and right where it could be I wasn't getting through them fast enough. And then Night Sisters, that was okay. Those were pre-planned 2 shots. I think that's it, man. Those are just the big ones where it's like, why? Oh, another one I took, and just to keep bear in mind, I took JML versus JMK in the hopes that I would get a good one shot, but I didn't take the full Monty. And so I was like, well, I'll take Ayla, I'll take other pieces. It still wasn't enough. Without having the right things together and having the right tools, they just eventually wrapped around me. There was just no way around it. That was the big takeaways this week for the why. Why, oh, why did it have to happen?
Got you. All right. Dagger, what failed you?
Oh, man. I could take 10 minutes regaling you, but I'll give you kind of just the... like I said, I had my opponents. I think I had one person full clear me and the other people cleared a zone. So I only had one where I really had to try. But I tried a bunch of stuff versus Jabba. Afra failed. Phoenix failed. Night Sisters failed. These were different rounds, mind you. I only gave these like one F around and find out fight. Right? Because my opponent spotted me a few drops. I'm like, see if Afra can beat it. And I timed out with Afra. The problem was I got BT1 killed too frequently. They really, really wanted to kill him. So I think going forward, I'm not going to take Darth Vader. I'm going to take like somebody else, I think. Probably a droid.
Okay.
Maybe IG-88. But Darth Vader didn't feel like he did anything for the team, honestly. So I might try that, but like take somebody else. Phoenix, I tried against Lord Vader and failed. I beat a JML with by Phoenix though, so I tried by Phoenix all 3 rounds versus a Jabba, Lord Vader, and a JML. The Lord Vader, I don't know if there was anything I could do to like not get blown the bleep up by Maul, because Maul just killed like 2 of my people because I didn't have a bulk cron, right? But bulk Maul was just like, and your Hera and your Rex no longer exist. Have fun. I'm like, well, this was fun. Moving on, back out. And outside of that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else like super notable that didn't work outside of trying things like Night Sisters. What did I try Night Sisters versus that? Like absolutely just did not work. Was it Zori? I tried without Dr. Zombie against Zori, and I think they just TM looped me a little too much. But yeah, there wasn't a ton that like failed that it wasn't like we talked about this before. There wasn't a ton for me that failed that was like, oh my god, I need this to work. And like I said, the highlights against trying off counters versus GLs when I had the wiggle room was something that I did that did not work out well for me this week. So I retuned some modding. I know Tash and I talked about that. I remodded a bunch of things to hopefully work better. And we'll see if it pans out. We'll see if it becomes necessary at all.
Yep. All right. Fair. Okay. Well, let's get to standout defenses. Who overperformed for you? Who came out in the clutch? Maybe it wasn't even that it was an exceptional team, but the fact is, if that team didn't get the hold that it got, you would have been just that many banners short on the dub. Like, who saved your bacon on defense this week? We'll go have a Dagger ping back off on that. I'm sure you have something to say on that.
Malgus
did work. Wow, okay.
Everyone who used JKL lead with a bulk cron lost.
Ooh, man, see?
Including using Cal. including using Cal. They just straight up lost.
Man,
Timed out or lost.
people.
That Malgus single-handedly allowed me to test all of the things I listed against people's GLs. Honorable mention to Ray, where somebody somebody fought my Ray and just got his Star Killer double whirlwinded. So shout out to that guy. That must have been rough. We chatted about it. But just getting your Star Killer double whirlwinded and just having to back out and go back in.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. TJ?
Tarful was a money shot.
Really? Okay.
Dude, I think we called it out in 3s, and I will continue to say it in 5s. If you don't bring the proper tool, and if you aren't prepared for it, it will own the butt. It will take it all. It will take it hard. It will take it fast, and it did just that. That was probably one of my biggest ones. Where without the drops that I got on it, I probably would have, especially lost round 3. Drogon with Saw definitely held as well, and I've actually played it, and Drogon is a madman. So doing the things like that, or just other pieces of you just don't know what you're going to get, it can really mess you up.
You never know what you're going to get.
I think those are the two big ones. Everything else was anything else that we're all going to know, being in the top where we've played against, where everything did what it was supposed to do and hold what it was supposed to hold.
Yeah. Very fair. Very fair. For me on defense, I ran Treya a couple of times. That got... it got a couple of holds. Jabba for the normal reasons. Rey for the normal reasons. And then a very surprise overperformance by Tarful as well. Like, that ended up, needing to get, 4-shot by one of my opponents. So, I think that, just the set 9 on Rey is so powerful. There's a couple comps that hold well. The idea is to just set something that slows down, impedes Starkiller, and see what else they have to commit to getting through. Lord knows, it's been done to me enough.
One note, if I may,
yeah,
make on Tarful.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Tarful, I'm not going to say it stood out for me as well, but a pattern I noticed is that my opponents, and looking at other people's history, people are taking teams against Tarful that just have no business ever winning. Like, as Tass said, I put grit down and my opponent tried to ad rat it and got absolutely blown out. But that wasn't going to win anyways.
It don't work.
I watched somebody tried to Night Sister my Tarful with grit. So I think that there's something to just unfamiliarity with a new team that can have extra wrinkles thrown in depending on the comp.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that. Take advantage of it while it's still new. I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
All right. That's fair. Okay, guys, next segment, and we're closing up on our half hour, so we'll try. I know we won't take too long through these next couple sections, but what we're going to take forward to next week, let me go first. If I'm going to be doing Slacker versus this powerful Lord Vader comp that will feature Piet in it, I'm going to come correct, and I will use Daka Zombie with it. It's tough because like Dagger was saying, I enjoy my Night Sisters, my full intact Night Sisters, as a high banner offense these days. That being said, I remember a number of circumstances last 5 vs. 5 season where I was able to make effective use of Mother Talzin, Marin with the Marin Kron, but without Daka Zombie. So I'll probably have more opportunity to work with that. Let's see, what else is there? I mean, lessons learned. I guess this is the part where we would want to talk about, what we expect the impact of, Leia and Malicos to be.
Let's do that or whatever.
Yeah, sure. We'll save that here for a few minutes later. But as far as, anything else that I'm taking forward to next week, no JML versus Lord Vader. And other than that, yeah, I think I saved about enough, but I noticed I had maybe 1 or 2 teams extra. And that's always a risk going on week one is do you have too much? Do you have too little? And maybe I'll try and have a slightly tougher defense this week. So that's about it for me. TJ, what are you taking forward to next week?
This week is the week of the MacGyver, I think, honestly. There's a lot we don't know, and it's probably one of the best times we'll ever see when it comes to Swigo and GAC and theory crafting, right? Because we have what we learned, and then it's almost out the window depending on the team comp we're going to face.
Yeah.
So with the 2 new characters, one being a GL in the game, and this board setup, and it's already, I think the MacGyver is even stronger here. So if you can afford it, these crazy comps that we're seeing or these pieces that are going to come together, I think are really going to catch people off guard. So that's my big thing is trying to catch somebody off guard. It's easier this week because there's just so much new going on.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Dagger, what are you taking forward?
Yeah, I think a lot of us here, well, you and I, the three of us, we talk a lot about the macro, like you both touched on, and like what the X versus Y is going to look like. But I think it's going to have to start being one of these situations where we step outside of our comfort zones, because the things we're so used to doing, like, you're not going to get Mace here anymore, right? Like, things like that. Like, I think we're going to have to step outside of our comfort zone a little bit and maybe try to come up with some out-of-the-box stuff. Mm-hmm. Because also, like Tass alluded to, in one of my rounds, my opponent set 5 GLs. In my last fight, I was deciding whether I wanted to overkill something really bad with Treya or Starkiller.
Mm-hmm.
So I set 5 GLs. My opponent set 5 GLs. The worst team between the two of us was like a Tarful with Hondo team. So it's like, I feel like we're just at a point where we have too many teams. So I feel like TJ said, we're going to start seeing more ingenuity, more innovations within the teams that you're going to see on offense and defense. And I think that you're going to have to start taking more risks to catch people out. Because now with 8 GLs, like, what do you do? Like, you can almost set 6 GLs and clear 7.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're just in a weird place right now where I feel like nothing will hold unless your opponent makes a mistake. So what I'm taking away is trying to find wrinkles that don't cost me anything on offense that bolster a defensive team.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair enough. As for me, I think, well, yeah, I mean, I already covered me, so no, I already went there. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and pivot now to a brief note here. What we expect about the impact of Leia and Malicos. Surely we all expect to see Malicos on defense. And as you've already mentioned, we're not going to be doing, Padme to that. Of what manner of caliber of team do you anticipate? I know none of us really have a solid answer. What's going to work on this now? But what is your initial suspicion that it might cost to get through?
CSAS Watt will be the first thing I try.
Yeah, it feels like something on the order of a Galactic Legend is appropriate.
It's basically what we saw with Malgus, right? You see him outside of it, he's strong. He's got some girth to him, but in GAC, this dude is crazy. This is fully what I expected Malicos. And because of that, and how Seer is already a ticking time bomb if he's on a Seer team, or it's gonna be nuts. So you try to do one small thing under. Seer team was already a strong team. It's now next level, and you're going to have to take something accordingly.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, the team used to be, the way you used to beat the team is by grinding it out, right? I watch you do a gas fight, right? Like down to 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
So the way you used to beat it is by just grinding it out with Bad Batch or gas or something along those lines. Malicos gives this team a ton of burst damage. So these teams like Bad Batch, gas might get set down more, right? Bad Batch might lose somebody along the way because of it was already kind of sketchy if they had an ATF, but now with ATF and Malicos, I think it's just a weird team now because it's like if you gave the Treya team a burst damage element.
Yeah.
Right? It's just this grind you into the dust style team that now can just blow you up front.
Fair. Very fair.
So it's we haven't seen many teams like this before, which is I think TJ alluded to this. It's one of the interesting parts about this because I don't know how many teams we've seen like this.
Yeah.
So normally the new characters they get make them better at doing something that they already do.
Mm-hmm.
This makes them better at doing something they didn't already do.
Fair. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have any more, questions about that. I mean, Leia. I don't want to go too deep in because we all have our own kind of plans for that. I mean, obviously, anybody who would be surveying top players are going to see health and speed or straight health. That's kind of a regular modding. But as far as whether or not I expect to see it on offense or defense, I expect more of my opponents to be setting it on defense. So I have to be planning and reserving something appropriate to deal with that. Because, I think that's a really common strategy is to take the new toy and put it down. And I'm going to play it by ear. I'm going to have to see what it looks like I can get away with against who I'm fighting. Because I definitely have to make only decisions that I think are going to win. I can't really take... See, I appreciate where Dagger's coming from. I have to take a risk where I feel I need to, but not where I want to, because I just don't want to slip anymore. I'm going to try and have more time for the game this week. So I'm going to try and get the dubs. But that's about it. Did you guys have anything else you want to say on either Leia or Malicos?
If your opponent doesn't have Leia, just windmill slam yours down somewhere in front. Make them kill it.
Okay, there you go. If you outgun your opponent, let him deal with the problem up front. I like it. It's a sound idea. TJ?
I think this week is a wild west. So I don't know. It's going to be either way. We know it's just killing a whole bunch, but there's still the old rule of make it your opponent's problem. If you bought the problem, make it the opponent's problem. So that's I still feel strongly about that, but Dagger is right. If they don't have it, that's doubling down the why is that not on defense?
Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, guys. That brings us pretty much to a close. We're only a few minutes over time. It's not so bad. Any final thoughts here? Let's get Dagger's comment first as we wrap up the show. Anything else for the good people out there?
Normally, I'd make a joke at your expense, but I will not do that this time. And I'll just say, if you liked the previous video we did with long-form content, I know at least TJ and I really like doing that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Reach out to Tass or one of us and let us know.
That would be great. The feedback is always welcome. So for sure, put that out. TJ, final words.
Get ready, boys. Shit's gonna be popping.
Gird your loins. Yes. Final thought from me is now we're in the heart of it. We told you in the last video that this was the calm before the storm. The last week of fighting with what was known before we feel the full impact of Malicos and Leia upon us. So we'll find out. You'll catch us in the next video to see what manner of bloodbath we all suffer. But until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.